Welcome to Zero's Game Room, where all things gaming takes place. Interviews, discussions, and the latest gaming news. So take a seat, get comfortable, adjust your headset, because it's game time. Here's your host, Zero.
Welcome to Zero's Game Room, the podcast where we talk about all things gaming, and today we are continuing still our talk about E3. We've already talked about PlayStation. We already talked about Ubisoft. We already talked about Square Enix, but as of this morning, I had to wake up really early, and we're talking about Nintendo. But no, I do not have Grayson live with me, returning the fan favorite, I guess, because he's the only other guest we have on the show, is Onpred. Welcome to the back, man.
Hey, thanks, Zero. Thank you for not kicking me out of the house. I just want to let you know the garbage is full, but I'll
buddy,
take
you
my
didn't have
payment
to do
go.
that.
Oh, thanks, man.
Well, I appreciate your time, and so I know you were kind of keeping up with E3, so as a whole, all developers included, what did you think of E3?
E3 so far, I think there's a lot of games that are being hyped. A lot of multi-platform games that I'm super excited to see. I'm super excited for Cyber 2077. I'm super excited for Skyrim. I think out of the best three, it was Microsoft who was the best. PlayStation was kind of for that little church thing that they had going on. And I think Nintendo had a lot of good things, but a lot of And I can't wait to just talk to you all about Nintendo.
Yeah, I really quick touching on that, you're right. PlayStation, I get what they were going for, but it was a little awkward. It was just like, I saw their intentions, but it was awkward.
Yeah.
It's like that awkward kid in school where it's like, I know what you mean well, but it, like, you don't got to do that. But today, we don't have to talk about those. We're talking about the one and only master of innovation, sometimes. We don't talk about the Wii U in that part.
We don't.
We talk about Nintendo. So they started off with a couple of games, not too much big of a news, and then they hit the one Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, which we now know, we knew already. It's coming out November 16th, 2018. I will say this, Onpred.
What's up?
I don't feel as much hate towards it as I did when I initially saw it.
Really? You're starting to warm up to it, man?
A little bit. Only because, one, I was right when we were talking about the mystery gift Pokemon that you get, an old friend or whatever, is Mew. So that's cool. It comes with Pokemon Plus, so, you know, that's kind of cool. But other than that, I see the purpose of this game existing. It is basically the training wheels for the full-fledged Generation 8 that we're eventually going to get in 2019. This is like, all right, let's put these guys in a three-dimensional space and warm people up to the idea of having a Pokemon game on the Nintendo Switch.
I think so too. And another thing that I just thought about is that a lot of the games that they just announced, it's a lot of playing with your friends and playing with your friends in that aspect. I think before they give us a hardcore game that they want and that they need to still refine to our full liking of that game, I think this Pokemon and other games that they announced at E3 is more like, hey, this is more friend-centric. You please play with a buddy because you know you're going to have a great time with our console. And I think that was one of the major things with Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. Plus, and you get a Pokeball that costs $40 just to get Mew. So, hey, man.
I know.
For you.
Maybe that's a little bit extreme,
yeah,
but
it's too much.
It's a little bit. It's a bit pricey to have a virtual Mew who you can't really do too much with. During the Nintendo Tree Live, the live treehouse that they had after the showcase, they showed off some of the gameplay. And yeah, I was right. Some of the battles are going to be 2v1 if you play with a friend. But I'm warming up to it. I probably will never like it, but I see its purpose of existing. But I will agree that this Nintendo was very much like, hey, buddy, friendly type thing, because right after that they announced Super Mario Party coming out October 5th, 2018, so the end of this year. What did you think of it?
Oh, dude, I'm so excited. What really hit me the most, and people might be like, it's another Mario Party game. No, it's not just another Mario Party game. It's going back to its OG roots. It's not going to be the cart rail system that we saw like early 2015, 2016, where it was just working together, and it got rid of that competitive vibe that it was known for. So back, it's going back to beating the hell out of your friends. And in the game, you know, and then we saw a lot of motion controls, a lot
breaking
of
friendships and all that good jazz.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why not do it on your favorite console? You don't need a board game.
No, but I will agree, though. I know you don't need Monopoly. I will agree, because Mario Party 9 and Mario Party 10 introduced that, like, cart system where all 4 players are in a cart, and, like, if you roll a dice, everybody moves together. I felt like that kind of ruined the competitiveness level of it. And not only that, just while watching it, some of them, I don't know if there were certain mini games, but did you see how they were able to connect 2 Nintendo Switch pads together? Did you see that? Like,
I thought that was totally amazing. I was like,
have
oh my
no
God,
idea.
what?
Like, how? I didn't know even that was possible. But, like, because they were playing a mini game or something, and one girl, like, she takes her finger, and she, like, they move it to one next to it, to the gamepad, and then they decide to move it a little more, like a T-shaped, and she just touches them both, and they connect into one continuous layout screen, and I was like, what? How?
Exactly. I think I have more questions about that system. Is it, if you want to play with 4 people, or if you want to have two switches together, is the map going to be kind of separated? I have a lot more questions, and I'm willing to wait to see what more it has in store for us. But I think it's still going to use the Bluetooth, and I believe if you're going to play on the go, you're still going to need a lot of battery charging, because
probably
not only are you going to have it undocked, which taxes more on the battery, but that means you have to have Bluetooth, and it has to be synced up, and you have to play whatever brightness you're in.
Oh, that's
I think it's
true.
really cool.
Yeah, those are definitely things that you need to think about.
Yeah, I'm really excited, but I think battery life, I think maybe you'll get like another 2 hours out of it before you're like, okay, hey, let's plug this in.
Yeah, and plus I feel like Mario Party should be played. I get it that, like, a lot of people like showing off that the Switch can play, like, you know, anywhere on the go and whatnot, but I still feel like Mario Party is one of those games you should more than likely be playing at home, you know, in the comfort of your own home, unless, you know, you and your friends are out somewhere. But that's just my personal opinion. Some of the mini games we saw was something with cooking. There was, like, the tanks, I guess, and a tricycle race. I don't know. Like, a lot of the mini games kind of looked actually interesting to me.
Yeah, I'm really excited to play with my friends about this. Even excited to play with you, even if you want to get your butt kicked by me. We could bet a few, you know, McNuggets, whatever. I'm down to win some more.
I'm down to clown around and get
down for you to lose.
Oh, no, you're going to lose. What? Bro, you're talking to the Mario Party king.
Wow,
I
then
don't think
guess
you
you're
realize
ready
that.
to be dethroned, aren't you?
Oh, what? Oh. Okay, well, we got a little bit of a fight going on here. Speaking of fighting in between houses, we actually got a new Fire Emblem game.
Yeah!
We got Fire Emblem 3 Houses, which we were given some gameplay and a release time window thing, because it just said spring of 2019.
True.
As the last Fire Emblem games, like the mainstream, because we've gotten like things like Fire Emblem Warriors, which I don't really count those because those were kind of like the Dynasty Warrior thing. But for Fire Emblem, we got Fire Emblem Echoes for the 3DS, we got Fire Emblem Awakening, and we also got the Fate series, which was Conquest, Birthright, and Revelations, all on the 3DS. Before then, we had them on the DS, and before that, the last time I think we saw Fire Emblem on a console was the Wii, which was Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn, and before then was the prequel Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. So it's actually really interesting to see that Fire Emblem is going to be going on the Nintendo Switch. The combat to me looks fantastic. It looks like it's like, while it still maintains that grid structure, it also seems like there's like little armies also going on in the same battlefield. Like, do you remember any of that from the trailer?
Yes, I actually do remember. I think it was more of the immersion, that if you're going to have a big open battles, you're not just going to have one of the leaders just run in and charge by themselves. I think that's where they're trying to go for, like, hey, this is your character, you're going to go charge in with your army against their army just standing out in the open. However you want to strategize, and they showed many different aspects of gameplay, of attacking, defending, and all the great aspects that you loved about Fire Emblem.
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited, but I am also going to be hesitant, and I'm going to wait until we hear more. Because as Nintendo does, as we go on through the season, like right after the summer when fall hits, like September, October-ish, Nintendo starts having their own simple little directs, maybe like a 20-minute or a 30-minute on things that are coming, things that they're working on, stuff like that. So maybe we'll hear more about Fire Emblem, the 3 Houses, as days go by. But something that was released as of this day of recording, actually an hour after the press conference happened, is As you can tell, I'm not very enthusiastic.
You are not. You are hating this game. But should I give it the announcement it deserves?
Yeah, go ahead. You can cover Fortnite. I'll just sit over here and drink my sippy cup.
You just announced it for me. Okay, so one of the cool things that are bringing back to... I think Nintendo just got on the hype train because a lot of kids like Fortnite. And Fortnite is actually released today. And... it was actually at 10 a.m., so they're just like, okay, let's do the release, let's do the direct, and then you can play Fortnite. This seemed kind of disappointment, at least from the costume aspect or the skins, because usually when Rocket League came out, it came with like the Mario hat and like it was like Nintendo celebration. With Fortnite, it seemed like there wasn't much of that. It just was like, hey man, can you just port the game? We can do whatever skins you want later, but let's just have the Fortnite out and let's have it on the game to where people can play the game rather than wait for them to make new skins and then release it. So I think this was really cool of Fortnite to release, especially with the hype going on.
I will agree to some extent that they should have had, because you're right, when Rocket League was transferred over, they got like Mario skins and Luigi skins and stuff like that. Like, this would have been a perfect time to implement a Mario, because, I mean, as we saw in I think it was the Square Enix one? Or no, it was in the Ubisoft one.
Yeah.
Ubisoft, we got Starlink, which was Starlink game or whatever, where there's like flying ships and everything. And Starlink, for the Nintendo Switch exclusively, you can get some Star Fox stuff, which makes sense because it's a Nintendo company. So as much as I don't like Fortnite, I do see the fact that they are missing out on a crucial, almost pivotal, I'd say, moment to add some of their Nintendo flair to the hype train that is Fortnite. Because Fortnite is everywhere. Fortnite and PUBG, I don't play them. I will more than likely never, ever, ever play it because I have sworn against it. And but I will agree with you that there was definitely some missed opportunities when it came to Fortnite.
I think so. But hey, I'm really looking forward to the Starlink because of Fox McCloud, and it's not going to be the on-rail shooter. This is just a side note. It's not the on-rail shooter like you had before, like Zero. This is going to be a totally different aspect, and I can't wait to see more from that game.
Definitely. And we were given a lot of indie games because, as we've actually discussed in podcasts before, at episodes before with OnPred, the Nintendo Switch has a lot of indie games at its disposal. And one of them that, well, at least seemed interesting to me, maybe a little bit, was Killer Queen Black, but not really, which that's coming later in 2018, was Hollow Knight, which Hollow Knight comes out today.
He actually did come out today, and I think it's a very loved game that people loved off of Steam. There's very positive ratings. People loved it. They loved it because it was a good platformer. Everything was hand-drawn, and a lot of variety of enemies and characters that you could... a lot of different characters that you grew to love over the course of your gameplay and the hours that you built on top of that. So I think that was a good move on Nintendo, but once that ended, they showed off a little bit more games that we already knew of. But then the big announcement came that everybody was looking for, and it might as well just be the blank direct. And
might as well. I will agree with that. It might as well been, because it was like everything else was kind of interesting. Like, I was like, oh yeah, this is good stuff. But of course, and they literally blew their load, for lack of a better terms. And it became...
like half the direct was this game just alone.
Yeah, no, the direct itself, when it was talking about this game, I like how we're teasing it when everybody knows what it probably was already. It's Super Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Yes.
But yeah, they spent like a solid 20 minutes talking about this, 20 to 25 minutes just talking about it and just jerking it of how amazing it is. Now, granted, I was one of those people that was helping jerk it, because first thing happens is we see the little symbol for Smash Bros. And it's like, okay, I literally thought this was what was going to happen. I thought we were going to get that, and it's all like we were going to see maybe like 3 new characters or something like that, because as they've done in the past, they always show off a new character. Like, I was like, all right, who's joining the Smash this time? But no, instead we're seeing a bunch of old characters, and I'm like, okay, the game looks awfully familiar, and like some of the stages seemed familiar, and I was like, wait, what is this? Turns out Daddy Sakurai comes out, and he's just like, oh yeah, we're actually bringing back some of the fighters from old Smashes, but wait, actually we're bringing back every single Super Smash Brothers character to have ever played and ever exist in a Smash Bros. Game. Like, what?
Oh, I was excited. The Twitch stream was going bananas, and they were saying, "Oh, Daddy Sakurai, Reggie, my body." Dude was not ready for this, man. This surprised everybody.
I didn't think they were going to go in this route, but like, there's now 3 Links. There's Link, which is going to have the Breath of the Wild, which is technically still the like Twilight Princess era older Link.
Oh, what you gotta do?
We're getting Young Link, which was the Majora's Mask Link, and we're getting 2 Link, which was from The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. So that's interesting, and some of their mechanics are going to be different, obviously, but I do feel like there might be a little bit of a duplicate factor in there. Pichu's coming back. Pichu, why do you hurt yourself, buddy? Like, I know why you do it, but as a Smash thing, it's dumb.
He's so young. Why do you have to hurt himself?
I guess, but I do like it. And what Sakurai was saying is that while the roster your starting roster will probably be small, kind of like 8 to 10 characters, you're going to have many, and I mean many opportunities to unlock all these characters, and probably the most important one that was released to us was hashtag free Wolf. Wolf is back, baby! I'm happy about Wolf being free. Just saying.
Free the Wolf.
Free the Wolf.
Free the
Also, with that being said, a lot of characters have a little bit of tweaked design / battling style. Like Mario now has Cappy on him. Like I said before, Link has the Breath of the Wild. Ice Climbers are back. Ike has the Path of Radiance look and the Radiant Dawn look, because one of them is like extremely more buffed than the other. There's just so many things that they're tweaking. They are literally trying to make this Super Smash Bros. Ultimate be the ultimate Smash Bros. Experience.
I totally agree with you in that. It seemed like majority of the Ultimate part is coming out with the fighters, like you said, and even went back to research more, and it's in total of everything included, even the Pokemons and everything else included. With playable characters, there's going to be 64 playable characters all fleshed out from Daddy Sakurai, and I can't wait for this game to come out. And plus, you get a lot of the modern references like Breath of the Wild. Even Mario has a lot of his costumes from Odyssey. You have Fox Zero coming out with this new Smash Finals, Final Smash that came out, and that's another thing that they worked on was the Final Smashes. And I didn't expect this, to be honest, because I thought this was more of like, I thought this was going to be more of a cash grab, but like, hey man, let's just put new skins and we'll just call it new. But Daddy Sakurai, he actually did a lot. He actually improved the game aspect. Instead of it being long-waited Final Smashes, he tweaked a lot of the people out. He tweaked a lot of the editing to where it was more about gameplay rather than watching a cutscene.
Right, because before we had the Land Master with Fox, and you got to control a Land Master. Now Final Smashes are more that quick, that snappy, that really flashy looking cutscene. You don't need to spend time wasting driving around a truck. You just go, and it's flashy. It's amazing. And even the little tweaks between Fox and Falco, how Falco, their formation of the R-Wings are different than Fox's. And like, there's, I guess, a little cutscene or something. I just think that's really cool. Even things that we already had before, like the Mega Man Ultimate, the Final Smash. Now we include Bass and Proto Man in there. And I'm just, you know what I mean? It's just those little things that really take this game to the next level. Now, the last thing I kind of want to talk about when it comes to Smash is I feel like it's getting that same treatment that Marvel vs. Capcom 3 got. It's Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom. This is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. A lot of old is coming back, but it's new. It's refurbished. It's remastered. Yeah, I know you want to use that word. But something that I took notice but didn't take into notice too much, that on-pred notice, was the stages. We actually get some new stages.
We actually are. We're getting a lot of the new stages, all that inspired by the new maps. I mean, the new games that are coming out. And it seems like they're giving variations too. There's going to have without it being the on-rails kind of stage that it was, to where it went from the sky then back to the ground, it seemed like they're going to have its own different version, so you can choose from it being either on the ground or in the air, and it's giving you all that options to choose from, and it's just like, wow, like, I wouldn't expect a Smash Brothers Plus to be this impactful.
I think that's the best way to put right, all this fan service, and that's the best way I can put it. My final thought is that if you've ever loved Smash Brothers, this is the Smash Brothers for everybody, because not only Is it every single character that's ever existed? They're all being tweaked. They're all coming back. They're all having their own little style and flair. But Daddy Sakurai wasn't done. He's like, hey, I'm going to tweak mechanics. As in, if you keep continually dodging, your dodging is going to get weaker the more you do it. So you can't be that kid who just runs around and like, hey, you can't hit me, because it'll hinder you in the long run. If you're on a 1v1 match, battles are going to be faster and snappier because you take more damage in 1v1 fights than you would in group fights. And also, GameCube controller support. I don't necessarily know how they're going to do this, though. I don't know how it's going to work, but I'm interested. And the last thing that I couldn't believe, it blew my goddamn mind, is they listened to the fans. The number one requested, and my personal opinion and existence on the internet, Ridley. They managed to put Ridley from Metroid into Super Smash Brothers. Like, what?
Oh yeah, this was it for the very, very end, and you know damn well Sakurai had a joy of making everybody surprised about that.
Oh yeah, are you kidding me? He blew everybody's mind. But overall, what would you rate this this press conference for Nintendo?
I would want to rate it a 7 close to 8. I think the new games that they already mentioned, they got quick teases from, they brought up some of the hype. I believe Smash Brothers verily got its well-deserved time portion on Nintendo Direct. I'm really excited to see the new gameplay mechanics, especially the dodging. I think that's going to go a major hit to the pro levels and all the Major League Gaming that's going to happen, and it's going to be a lot more interesting rather than a lot of blocking and dodging. And I just can't wait. I think what hurt me the most was that there's no Metroid Prime 4. There wasn't any mention of the new Yoshi game. There wasn't no Bayonetta 3. And everybody complained on Twitter for the longest of time, for like maybe 10 hours after E3 was done with Nintendo Direct. There was no Animal Crossing, and that hurt everybody. And I know it hurt even you.
I will agree that. I am sad that I didn't hear anything at all from Metroid Prime 4. I thought we would have at least seen something, but no. So that's still in development. And Animal Crossing, that would have definitely made the Nintendo press conference a little bit heightened, you know? Please all the fans. You got your hardcore gamers who love Smash Bros. And like to play those party games with like Mario Party. You have your strategy RPG with Fire Emblem. You got your Pokemon fans. You got your JRPG fans with Xenoblade Chronicles. You got your indie game fan base. What about the people who like Animal Crossing, chill games? But you know what? Maybe, just maybe, within the fall, we'll hear something about it on a Nintendo Direct.
I think so. And then one last final thought. I know Nintendo's known for quality, and I believe if they had to miss out on E3 just to show the game later on in this year for the hype and to build that quality that they're known for, I think it's understandable. But if they're not ready, then hey man, they're not ready. Let's not push the bad game into something that we're going to regret later on.
Right. I agree. And with that, we close down the end. As of right now, the end of the Nintendo press conference. So I hope you enjoyed this. And Onpred, thank you very much for being on the show.
Dude, thank you very much.
Well, that wraps up another episode of Zero's Game Room. Want to give a special thanks to my graphics designer at Trekit on Twitter and at David_Ritter for voicing my intro. Keep up to date with the podcast by liking it on Facebook at Zero's Gaming Room and on Twitter at Zero's Game Room. Until next time, GG with a definite re.